Hi, my name is Irina and I'm the face behind the blog lipstick.cafe, and in today's video I want to recreate Scott Barnes' makeup look on Tati Westbrook. I know this has been done a million times, however I want to put my twists on it, and the first twist I want to do is I want to also discuss some of his views regarding makeup because I found them quite interesting and I really want to do that. The second twist is that I will approach this glowy JLo look while taking Roaccutane, also known as Accutane, and as you may be aware it causes really dry skin. It's a drug for acne and most people that take it could not even dream of having a glowy JLo look while on it. I want to prove that you can absolutely do that. And my third twist on it, I guess, is that I will do this mostly with a wet sponge I have right here, and I'm going to do this so it's wearable even in daylight because I am going out tonight. However, here in Scotland in the summer is daylight until about like 10, so I want to do my own like twists on it and I hope you will really enjoy this. If you don't know who Scott Barnes is, he is the makeup artist of Jennifer Lopez. Right, so the first thing I want to say is that I will try and adapt his look even though it's made for studio lights and film. I will try and adapt his unique technique of having really glowy, contoured skin and still be able to wear it on the street, so to say. Now, this will not be a look that you go to work, that you know, go to school or whatever. It will be a look of more of a cocktail party, meeting friends late in the evening sort of thing, but I will adapt this during the daylight, and that the way I will do that is I am filming in daylight just now, so I will be able to control my makeup techniques in natural light.
You know, people do parts, I call it parts modeling. It's like, here's your eyebrow, and it's like, isn't it amazing? You're like, it's an eyebrow.
Right, so I definitely agree with that. I think that in today's world you see these girls that have absolutely perfect face makeup but they don't really match their body to it, and I do talk a bit about this in my 10 good rules to wear foundation article on my blog Lipstick Cafe. If you want to check that out, I will link it down below. But I totally agree with this. You absolutely have to glamour yourself up, not just on your face. If you wear makeup on your face, you need to go further down your neck. If you're wearing a dress, to go on your legs and so on, you know. I think he was spot on with this one.
The whole face, let's see the whole picture. Because when you are doing makeup, everything's got to work harmonious, whether it's hair, makeup, wardrobe, everything's got to work together.
So, and you use everything in a very, I want to say non-traditional way. Like, you will take a powder and use it as bronzer, or you'll put it on the eye. And I think so many women are conditioned to think that eyeshadow has to just be eyeshadow. And
can I explain to you why they do that?
Why?
Is because when you go to a department store, they load a sale. So you need an eye primer, and then you need the eyeshadow, and then you need the sealer, and then you need the mascara, but you can't use this eyeshadow because this is the only, you know.
This was one of the things that I really appreciated him for saying it. I did feel like this for the years after I really got into makeup, you know. So I have this like cream blush from Illamasqua, right? And it's just a cream blush, but why not use it a bit on your eyelids if you want just like a rosy pink blush on your eyelids? Why not using it, you know, as a lip tint? Why not using it for so many different things? And I've seen makeup artists using, you know, rosy lipstick as blush as well, or under the eye, and it definitely makes you think how much marketing there is out there and how much companies are trying to make you spend. I think there's so many different creative ways we can use the same product for multiple things. It's not always going to work because the formula does change according to what that product is meant to be, you know. A highlighter is not going to be as intense as an eyeshadow because it's not meant to be like that, but there's definitely ways you can play with products that doesn't mean that you need 20 different items. So another thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that Scott Barnes started as a painter, and then he transformed that love for painting into wearing makeup, and I definitely feel like that as well. I always thought there was a connection in between color theory and if you were an artist before, like if you know how to paint and if you know how to draw and if you are into that sort of thing, I always felt like you would be really good at makeup as well.
You don't use primer?
For what? I don't I don't really need
to
it.
fill everything in. Wow.
Right. That's quite funny, you know, when like professional makeup artists don't use primers. I don't want to say something wrong, but I think Lisa Elders doesn't use primers either. Right, so I will start the concealing business like he does it. However, my only concealer is the Maybelline Instant Age Eraser, and it's not a very light shade, so it's not going to be quite the same effects he does it. This matches my skin perfectly, so it's not going to be exactly like. I don't own any very light shade concealer. I just don't feel like that makes me look any better. So I'll just try and use this big fat sponge the same way he does it with the tiny doe foot applicator that he uses. And I'm just going to look towards that side because that's where my mirror is. I'm just going to start under my eyes. One thing I have to tell you is do not do exactly his contouring. Every face is different. You will want to emphasize and bring the light in on different areas of your face. For example, I was thinking about this when doing my chin. If you have a prominent chin, you don't need to bring it forward even more by applying a much lighter concealer on it. Everything that has more light on it is gonna almost give the illusion of being forward. I will not use a brush, unfortunately, because I did mention I am taking Roaccutane, and every time I pull the skin around with a brush, my skin does not react very well. The concealer before foundation is quite difficult to blend on my skin because my skin is really dry at the moment, so I'd say be careful if your skin is really dry with this technique, especially if you want to use the brushes like Scott does. And you might just find that it's quite similar to what happened to me, which is your skin will just sort of start to shed and exfoliate under the movement of the brush. I zoomed in my camera a bit so you can see better what I'm doing on my face. So I'll go and contour the jawline. And the reason why you're doing this is you want to make your jawline look sharper and more defined. Before I actually blend this in, I will use the Perfect Legs Skin Miracle This Works. And I know it's for legs, but I will actually use this on my neck and my chest area to bring a bit like bronzed to it. And to do this, I will use a BECCA Kabuki brush. I'll just put the tiniest bit on my brush. You might have seen this in my Marks and Spencer's unboxing of the Summer Beauty box. So I just put the tiniest bit on it. I don't want a lot. I don't want to look a lot tanner than I actually am. I just want a kiss of like bronzed skin. Because the truth is, once you do all the contouring that Scott usually does, you do need to be a bit tanned for that, because otherwise your face will look a lot darker than the rest of your body. I'll just take my sponge to blend the jawline contour in. And the next step he actually does is apply foundation. I'm using the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation, which does not have a high coverage at all, so that's going to help not cover up the contour I just did.
I think that cream works primarily better than powder.
Since I've had really dry skin because of Roaccutane, I did start to use cream products a lot more, and I've discovered they're gorgeous and you can do a lot more things with them than just powder products. Anyway, so now that I've applied my foundation on, I actually feel like I need to go in with some more contour on top of that, just a tiny bit, to re-emphasize the lines that I previously did. Very tiny bit. And now, before you judge me that I'm trying to recreate this look without brushes, and we know that Scott is such a huge fan of brushes, I have to tell you that, you know, each of us have different tools, each of us have different products, and you have to learn how to make things work for what you already have. Because the truth is, we're not going to go in a shop and buy 50 new brushes to recreate a look that someone created while using brushes. You know, you have to learn to adapt to what you have. As I said, I can't really use brushes at the moment because my skin is so dry, my skin just starts to peel off. Then you adapt, you use a wet sponge, you know, it's not a tragedy. You don't have to be so like, oh, but he did this and he did that. That's fine, it's your own face, it's your own physiognomy, it's your own, you know, each of us have different bone structures, each of us have different shapes of the cheeks, of the jawline, as I said. Just adapt everything to suit you, and I think that's one of the best things that like really professional makeup artists do, especially the ones that do celebrities makeup. They know how to play with their technique and with their knowledge on the person in front of them, and that's it. No other influence, you know, just the person in front of them, what looks good on them, what doesn't. I will skip over the entire powder section because I'm not really using powder at the moment because my skin is really dry and I really don't need it. It's just making my makeup look even drier. I know it's a bit controversial. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, please watch my how to do your makeup while taking Roaccutane video. That can work even if you have really dry skin. So for highlighter, I will actually use the Jennifer Lopez collaboration with Inglot one, which I absolutely love. I have a review about this on my blog Lipstick Cafe if you want to read that. It's actually my favourite highlighter, and I just use it with a contour brush. I will apply some highlighter on my chest area as well. So I will very gently contour my lips with a lip liner, like Scott did in the video. And I'm not gonna go to overline my lips because I already have that beautiful contour around them, which are gonna make them look more full. And now we'll use a sort of bronzy, neutral nude on the lips. Actually, this is a bit too rosy, I think, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put slightly bit tiny of foundation on my lips. And the trick that Scott uses to make lips look fuller is he puts a lot of gloss on them. Then on the upper lip, he actually goes a bit over with the lip gloss. Very gently over the line to bring even more light on. So I'm gonna use a dark brown from a Dior palette to sort of do the cut crease that Scott Barn does. And because I've got hooded eyes, I'm going to look straight in the mirror while I do that. If I close my eyes and lift my eyebrow, you know, like I'd be tempted to do that, then the moment I'm going to open up my eyes, everything I did is just not going to be there because the hood of my eyes is going to cover that. So I'm just going to do that with my eyes open so I can see what I'm doing and so that my hood doesn't cover it up. Another thing that I really liked about Scott's techniques is that he didn't use a lot of colour on the eyes, and he didn't use a lot of different shades and things. I think you can do such an absolutely gorgeous look with just like a few shades of brown. You don't need a huge palette with the same sort of brown, but light brown, darker brown, medium brown. I mean, I've always believed, and when I look at an eyeshadow palette, I'm always like, why do you need 10 different shades of brown when you can use the same shade of brown with a lighter touch of the brush to have a lighter brown, or you can push harder and have a more dense brush and get a darker brown. So I will try and apply mascara like Scott did, which is almost like back combing your lashes rather than going in upwards motions. He goes backwards and comb it down. But nervous about that. So this is a bit of a disaster. I'll try to fix that. Right, so I smudged my mascara a bit, my left eyelids, but I will wait for my mascara to dry first before I try and correct that. Now, the one thing I noticed about Scott's technique of going downwards with the mascara rather than upwards is that it applies so much mascara to your lashes. I mean, I'm not sure how you can see this on the camera, but it looks like I've got false eyelashes. My eyelashes feel heavy. That's how much product they have on them. I do have to say, however, I keep looking in the mirror. I'll try to look sideways so you can see the amount of volume I have. It's just insane. It's not normally this fantastic, even though I have used my favourite mascara, which is the L'Oreal Extatic Lash Paradise. I will skip over putting false lashes. I have yet to discover a pair of false eyelashes that do not make me look a bit exaggerated and look good with my hooded eyes. So I try to keep my eye look quite simple as well, like Scott Barnes did with Tati. And what I mean by that is I only use like I think 2 brown shades, and I just played around with the hood of my eye, under my eye. And I think what I will do, they didn't necessarily do that, but because I didn't have quite a bright colour concealer to get that effect, I think I'll try and add some white powder in inner corners of my eyes and just under my eyes to have that sort of glowy, luminous effect as well. So I zoom the camera out again so you can get a better picture and be able to see the entire look I've created today. If you put your arm next to your face and neck and you found that you're too bronzed here and your hand is too white, just use some more tinted cream with the same sort of big kabuki brush on your arms as well and your hands. Now the issue with this is that if you are using this not necessarily to film a music video, every time you're going to wash your hands, that's going to wash off. So maybe have a small sample size like this in your purse to be able to like put it back again and make sure everything's fine. I'd say with this type of look, it's very important once you're done to sort of look back in the mirror and analyse that your neck and your chest is not lighter than your face, things like that. As I said, I adapted this look quite a lot for my own face and my own eye shape, and I hope this was fun to watch. I think I did a pretty good job considering I haven't used brushes. I think with brushes you have so much more control than using a sponge, especially when he was putting some more powder at the end to like contour the cheeks even more. I think if you have a brush to do that, it's amazing. With a sponge it's still really good, but what can happen with sponges, it can spread the colour too much, and you don't have that precision that you have with a brush. So I'm quite happy with how it looks so far. And I mean, you've seen it like closer up as well. I don't think this is too heavy or a bit too much. I'm quite confident to wear this later on when I have to go out. I feel really defined. I think my face looks really nice. I'm so glad that Tati did this video with Scott, because if you think about it, like 10 years ago, you know, you could not get this extremely important and essential tips from high celebrity makeup artists. You just couldn't. You would have to be in LA, you would have to pay a lot of money for it. Nowadays you can just use YouTube and online sources and, like, you know, people like Tati to just find out so many things. I mean, the fact that I'm able to watch Scott Barnes makeup tutorial and learn so much from him while being in my own house, not paying anything, just watching him online is absolutely amazing. And I think we can learn so much from it, and I'm so grateful that people do this and that makeup artists like Scott agree to be on camera and share all these amazing tips for free with us. It's absolutely insane and it's unbelievable. Let me know how you adapt Scott's technique to your own face shape and eye shape, to your own needs, to your own sort of events that you're going to. I'm very curious about that, so please write it down in the comments down below. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share if possible, and visit lipstick.cafe, which is my blog. You can also support me on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching and have an absolutely lovely rest of the day.